All right, guys, we're live. It's Thursday night once again. It's week 3, right? It's week 3. The season's already flying by. The first quarter of the season, I guess. I don't know. It's not an even quarter since there's 17 games, but anyways, Thursday night, guys. Glad to have you guys with me. Justin's not going to be with us tonight. He had some other stuff to do, but how are you guys doing tonight?
Shit, football's on. Baseball's on. I'm good, bro. I'm with the bros.
Nice.
Good day. It was my day off.
The only thing you forgot is a drink in hand, Ron. That's it, man.
It's because I don't have my cup, bro. I don't have my cup.
I'm doing good too. Just looking forward to the game tonight, man. Got decent amount of action tonight on the game. Pretty lopsided game, I think personally. I know that we'll get into the details of it, but yeah, looking forward to tonight's game. And this weekend we got some fights. College football on Saturday, UFC pay-per-view Saturday night, and then NFL on Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to this weekend.
How about you, Ron? See you wearing that Cowboys cap? You still riding off that high, that victory on Sunday?
Oh, you know it, man. You know it. We were underdogs. We went into LA, and
no one believed in us.
If y'all saw pictures of the LA game or videos, man, it looked like we were in Jerry's world. The majority of the fans were all decked out in Cowboy gear, man. We're America's team. We travel well. We got the W against Justin Herbert, and we're going to get another W on Monday night, baby. What other team has a Thursday night game and a Monday night primetime games 2 out of in 3 weeks? America's team, baby. You know it.
That's a big time right there. It's a big time.
We're gonna show out, man, and yeah, I'm excited for the weekend too. My sister's birthday is tomorrow, so
nice.
Happy birthday to Fish. Happy birthday to Felicia.
Happy birthday, Fish.
Yeah, for sure. It lands on a Friday. We're gonna celebrate on Saturday. Just something, chill.
Guaranteed to go hard. Como que chill. Fish's birthday and chill. Yeah, right.
Well, speaking of with football, talking about the Cowboys game, how was everybody else's, I guess, betting weekend? Did everybody do okay this past Sunday? Everybody have enough money to make their payments on their mortgage and their rent this next week?
Yeah, everything was good. Shit, as far as us, pretty much most of what we gave out on the show with our pick'em contest against the spread. I mean, everybody went over 500, 2-1 or 3-0. So it was pretty good week of seeing the board, I think, from everybody on the podcast.
Nice little recovery from week 1.
Yeah, week 1 was brutal.
0-3 in that pick'em contest, but here on the podcast. But yeah, Ben, you swept. You went 3-0. I got on the board with 2 wins, 1 loss. And
I had to get some dogs on there. Cowboys as underdogs.
Good call.
Carolina as underdogs.
That was a good one. That was a good
Teams
bet.
Winning outright. Teams winning
Never
outright.
in doubt. Never in doubt.
Bro, I would have gone 3-0 because I took the Chiefs, and we all know what happened with the fucking Chiefs. So. The Bills hit, the Cowboys hit, and the Chiefs. I was just waiting for them to close it out. And dude, I remember I told you on the show I had all these parlays closing out with him. Yeah. So man, I did get hit a little bit with the Chiefs.
I think the books did the previous week.
Money back.
The previous week, the public had cleaned up, against the books with that Rams game, Rams and Bears. The Rams pretty much killed them, from start to finish. But this past week, I think everybody liked the Chiefs. And, Lamar and the Ravens had something to say about it.
Lamar.
Gutsy call at the end, but obvious call, I think. A little dramatic. Harbaugh playing into it a bit. A little dramatic. I think it was pretty obvious. If you put the ball back to the Chiefs, you're probably going to give up a field goal and lose. So you had to go get that 1 yard and, end the game. It was... I was on the Chiefs as well, but it was nice to see them finally get over that hump of beating the Chiefs because Lamar hadn't beaten the Chiefs his entire career.
Shit, they could have done that another game when we didn't have money on the Chiefs.
Yeah, I feel you, cuz. But that's why they say any given Sunday.
Look at the Chiefs to finish off their Sunday night for sure. But definitely glad to see Lamar get that victory against the Chiefs. Man, fantasy-wise, shit, he had probably one of his best games, since his MVP season, with those rushing touchdowns and that jump pass to Marquise Brown. That was pretty crazy.
That was dope.
Did everybody's fantasies come through this weekend also instead of betting?
Did my fantasies come through? I was like, shit, are we going to get into that right now?
No, man, I fucking killed I won league in the Madero League. Shit, I scored 203 points, bro. I straight up just, and that's because Danny scored like 165 or 170. So brutal. I mean, he was the second highest guy, but I killed it, bro. I have Cup in that league. I had Aaron Jones who went off. Kyler Murray. I think I had 3 players score like over 30, 35 points. So
Kyler Murray's up there for MVP, man. What do y'all think? Is he going to be this consistent? They've gotten off to a hot start. They got some big division games coming up. But just to talk about Kyler Murray a little bit, what do y'all think about the MVP race? Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes are tied at 1, and then Tom Brady's at 2 with Matthew Stafford behind him.
Yeah, I probably got Tom Brady number 1 right now. A little bit of bias. I think he pretty much has the same stats as Kyler Murray, although Kyler Murray's probably got a rushing touchdown or 2 on him. So Kyler Murray, definitely no hard argument for me as far as him being in the MVP conversation, because that's right where he belongs after the first 2 games. The only thing I will say, just to play devil's advocate, is he has played the Vikings and the Titans, and those teams aren't known for having the best secondary. But he's been cleaning up, man, and he's been electric on the field. Yeah. Next closest thing to Lamar Jackson in terms of excitement on the field.
I think he's got less to work with, man. So I think Kyler Murray should have a little bit more of an edge there as far as MVP goes.
He's got some good weapons, but he does have less than Brady.
Yeah, and I mean, what is his 3rd year in the league? What, 3rd year, 4th year?
He's like that. Third or 4th year. I question if he can like sustain the longevity of it. Here we go. Hey, the Ravens win a game and Lou watches the pod. Gotta come in. Hey, Lou, Lamar should have gotten flagged for taunting, man. You know, that was the refs are throwing flags at everybody for taunting, dancing in the end zone.
Oh, those calls are horrible.
Lamar hurt his hip, didn't even practice today, and he even said it was due to that flip into the end zone. Didn't get flagged. A lot of people were mad about it, even though they were mad that refs were throwing flags all weekend about it. I guess they wanted them to be consistent, but nice to see Lou in here after a big Ravens win, man. We missed you after week 1.
Shit, Tyreek Hill can't do a backflip, but Lamar can do a front flip.
Here comes Wally with a little comment. Not too keen on the Ravens, but hey, that was a great game. And Ben, just to circle back to Kyler Murray, man, if he can keep it up, I mean, he's on pace to do numbers. I mean, historically, talking about maybe eclipsing the passing touchdown record. But again, he's got to keep it up. And we all know he's in a very strong division. It's looking like the NFC West again.
I think Brady will end with more touchdowns than Kyler Murray passing wise. The division's tough for Kyler.
Yeah, the division's tough though.
To your point, as far as the teams that they've been playing, he does have the Jags this week, and they're 7.5-point favorites only. So that's going to actually be a play for me going into Sunday. Is the Jags at 0-2 versus the Cards with Kyler Murray MVP race at 7.5 points. I think you got to take it. I mean, buy the hook to 7, and I think you're golden.
Yeah.
Well, the only last thing I was going to ask on Kyler Murray was, I know you're talking about MVP. After the first 2 games, do you think the Cardinals have a chance at maybe possibly making the playoffs?
Because I know that we were all pretty down on them. I had Kingsbury on the hot seat coming into the season, and very well he was on the hot seat. But they are playing well. We've talked a little bit about the lack of toughness in their schedule. I think once it gets into the division, we're going to find out a lot about them when they're playing, their division foes. That's arguably, one of the toughest divisions in football. So we'll find out a lot when they get into the division.
Yeah, for sure. And I see a lot of people in here, or actually not a lot of people, but Gene, we're going to get to it right now. And that's why we're here. It's for Thursday night. We're about to get into the game right here. It's the Thursday night football breakdown. We got the Texans, the lowly Texans, against the Carolina Panthers, who seem to be on the up and up so far this year. They're 2-0. They got Sam Darnold. Questionable. I mean, I think he has a little bit more arm talent than Teddy Bridgewater, but it's questionable in terms of if that was a big upgrade going into the season. It's looking good so far. Texans, complete opposite end of the spectrum, although they have been competitive. Are you guys at least excited to watch this game, other than a couple of bets that you might have on it?
Shit, I'm excited because I think that I'm on the right side with these plays today. I think it's going to be pretty one-sided. I think that the Texans have played really well, and I think Tyrod Taylor surprised a lot of people, man. I mean, they were if Tyrod Taylor doesn't get injured last week, they might end up beating the Browns. I mean, they were going toe-to-toe with them up until halftime. Tyrod ends up getting hurt, and in comes David Mills.
Take it easy.
A rookie QB out of Stanford. And against that Browns defense, he threw a pick right away. I think it's going to be ugly tonight, man. The Carolina Panthers just blanked the Saints. The Saints coming off that big win week 1. I know everybody talking about how good the Saints were. Jameis is back. And then they go and play Carolina and get goose-egged. Not a damn point put on the board. They had under 200 yards of total offense. I mean, Alvin Kamara owners were hiding in their closets, bro. It was bad if you owned Alvin Kamara last week. You probably lost your fantasy matchup. So tonight, I expect it to be one-way traffic. I think that the Panthers have done a good job just doing a lot of what's easy for Sam Darnold and what he's good at. We saw DJ Moore get in the mix last week, finally get in the end zone. He's a guy who usually doesn't score, but he was able to break through there. And Christian McCaffrey's going to eat tonight. If you're a Christian McCaffrey owner, I mean, you're going to be licking your chops all night, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for tonight's game just because we have so many plays on it. And I think that I think it should be chalk, man. I think it should be chalk tonight. Just like to your point, Ben, Carolina defense, man, 120. I know you said under 200, but it was 128 total yards. 128 total yards. Dude, they've only allowed 21 points all year, and they're killing it, man. 6 first downs. The Saints only got 6 first downs last week. So I think it's going to be all Carolina tonight, just like you said. I'm excited for Sam Darnold. I really wasn't a big fan of him coming out of college. He went to the Jets, and I would always rag on him just like everybody else does. Yeah, I mean, I think he's out to prove that it was the Jets. It was his coach who looked all cracked out.
Maybe it was Gase. Yeah, maybe it was Gase.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was Gase, man. I think he's out to prove that he is that guy, and he's doing it in Carolina too. I know it's only been 2 games. It's a small sample size, but he's been playing well. His stats are good. He's got a good connection with his receivers, and he has a back like Christian McCaffrey. So, hey, kudos, man. Kudos to Sam Darnold.
Matt Rule put together a good team. That GM put together a good team. The Panthers rolling are a team that last year's draft, every single pick in the draft, they went defense. And, arguably they have one of the better front fours in the NFL. Early on in the season, they've really been getting to the quarterback. Now they're lining up against a rookie quarterback. I think that the drop-off from Tyrod to Davis Mills is just way too drastic.
Oh, hell yeah.
Davis Mills, quarterback out of Stanford. He played less
rookie third round.
Yeah, rookie third rounder. Not looking good. I would start thinking about Deshaun Watson right now, honestly.
Well, why isn't he playing?
Yeah, why? That's a $1 million question. There has to be some sort of an agreement. But let's stick to the players on the field. Excuse me for deviating a little bit. But let's get into the props. Let's see what we like for tonight. So prop it
like it's hot, boy.
Got the little emojis there. I like that, Ben. You're on Cooks. This is a guy that's come up in some of our starter sit-ems.
Every week. He seems to be in there every week, Roland.
Shout out to Joe Tawada. Every week.
And he's a guy that people got pretty cheap. And he's turning out to be a pretty good investment. So
between the 8th and the 10th round is when you got, Brandon Cooks in leagues. Him and Deebo Samuel have been the guys. They're both top 10 receivers drafted, way in the back of drafts. But I'm here trying to pull up his stats real quick. Brandon Cooks right now in a full point PPR league is ranked as the 10th best receiver. His stats, week 1, 7 targets, 5 receptions for 132 yards, no touchdowns. So he gave you 15 points week 1 of fantasy football. And he is the number 1. I mean, I know that I asked y'all a couple weeks ago, can you name another Texans receiver? And obviously I'm on a podcast with some dudes who know their shit. So y'all did name me some other Texans wide receivers. I wasn't expecting that. But week 2, 14 targets. And when Davis Mills came in, he targeted him 9 times after Tyrod cut out. And he knows who the number one is. He knows who he has to throw the ball to. 14 targets, 9 receptions, 78 yards, but he did get in the end zone. His prop tonight, 5.5 receptions. I mean, this is a guy, he did have 5 week 1, 9 week 2. I expect him to be down. I expect the game flow to be the Texans passing the ball, and there's no doubt who the number one wide receiver is. So for Cooks tonight, I'm expecting like 7 and like 92 yards, possibly a touchdown. I'm playing Brandon Cooks in fantasy football this week as well.
Nice early start on Thursday night.
Yep.
A little fun having extra incentive fantasy-wise on Thursday.
Shout out to Joe. We're actually going to go into your question later, Joe. So stay tuned, man. To your starter sit-em.
Popular question. But moving on to the second prop on the board. Actually, I have 2 for tonight. They're both on CMC. I think he's going to eat tonight, as Ben was talking about earlier. I have his prop at over 5.5 catches. It's a little bit of juice on it, but I mean, you can pretty much book him for 5 or over. I mean, he's had 9 and 5 the first 2 weeks of the season. So I'm thinking he's going to get over that 5 catch mark. And then that second prop is CMC over 142.5 receiving yards plus rushing yards. So you get points for receiving and rushing yards in this one, and I think it's just pretty easy ask for him. He had 98 yards rushing week 1, 72 in week 2, and he had 89 and 65 in terms of receiving yards in week 1 and 2. So he's been around that mark, and if anyone's going to get it done for them, he's the first option. So I'm going CMC tonight.
To give you a little extra pat on the back there, pal, and a little extra luck. Here's a little stat for you. He's averaging 160 all-purpose yards per game so far. So the 160 is over your 142.5. And Houston has allowed the 6th most fantasy points to running backs. Also, they're giving up about 200 total scrimmage yards to running backs. So this is a team.
Ron's hitting us with the stats today. I love it.
I mean, I gotta look out for my boys. And when these stats came up, I knew you were taking these props. So that's really looking good for you, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for sure.
I see you have a running back here.
Yes, bro, I do. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna tell Roland that the only question that I had was maybe if the Panthers blow out the Texans, but I mean they blew out the Saints last week 31-0, and McCaffrey still got his. He got over that mark of the 142.5. So I don't see it being a problem with the game flow of them being ahead and running the ball. It should get there, bro. I like it. I took it myself. I tells you on that one.
Well, hopefully it brings us some luck, and whoever has a CMC in fantasy, hopefully he comes through for you guys.
And I think to Ben's point last week about the Saints, they did get that early lead. Obviously, they didn't need to have Darnold throwing the ball a lot, so they were just feeding CMC. So that could
expect that tonight.
We could expect that tonight. But going to mine, Ingram under 36.5 rushing yards. I mean, a lot of things play into this play. We all said it. We think that the Panthers, get out to a lead, which means that Houston's going to be throwing the ball more. It's a running back committee there, with David Johnson and Mark Ingram. A little stat here that I saw as well.
Philip Lindsay.
Philip Lindsay too. But Carolina has allowed the fewest yards to running backs. Ingram gets only 40% of the carries for the Texans, which is a little more than I thought. But also they haven't allowed more than 25 yards to a running back. So any running back, they haven't allowed 25 yards to any running back. So to a running back, yes, they have and we've been talking about their defense, all night. So they haven't allowed 25 yards to any running back. And now they're going against a team who has a committee and a team that doesn't look like they're going to run the ball tonight very much. So I saw 36.5 and I had to take it. I think it's at minus 120, under 36.5, minus 120. So I jumped on it, man, and hopefully it hits, man, and we prop it like it's hot.
If they're down, like you said, Ron, for game flow, I mean Ingram's not even the pass catch. Ingram's not even the pass catching back, so they'll have Lindsey in there or somebody else, as that threat. So he might not even see those 40% of snaps that you mentioned tonight. It might be a little lower just based on them being down. And then Noel Cruz says over 86 I believe that's for McCaffrey's rushing yards is a lock.
Yeah. I actually saw it on 88 on my book. So, I mean, 2 yards.
Okay. So he got the better number. Maybe he put it in this morning.
Maybe. And for sure, Wally said for sure Ingram has 37 yards today. Ronnie goes silent. Yeah. We'll see.
Damn, hey, I can't even see the emoji. Pinche Wally
running backs. There's a lot of running
backs. We're hitting, baby.
Yeah, so we'll see.
All we do is hit, but Wally doesn't tail. So it's all good.
And we don't have a screen for this, but we should get it out of the way since it is for Thursday, and I need to confirm that we got it in. But our survivor pool pick,
we did get it in. It's confirmed that some of the people that are here commenting actually are in the same survivor pool with us. So yeah, let's get to the survivor pool pick for this week.
So without further ado, and like I said, we don't have a screen,
a slide,
or a slide, but it is the Carolina Panthers, and that's why. A, we're not having a stream on Sunday, and B, it's a Thursday night game, so we got to give it out now. Carolina Panthers, for all the reasons that we just talked about.
I was going to say, pretty much the thought process behind it, I mean, we were between the Denver Broncos, which I think are going to be the most popular survivor pool pick this coming week. They are at home to the Jets, making their home opener. I mean, the Jets and Wilson are going to have to go into that altitude and play the Broncos, so that's going to be the most popular pick, guaranteed. But we went with the Carolina Panthers. I know at first, when we were talking about Roland, brought up some question marks, just road team, on short rest, Thursday Night Football. But then when they confirmed that Mills was going to be the starting quarterback, I think it's a no-brainer, man. You got this guy, like Ron mentioned, third-round pick, making his first career start. Yes, it is at home, but it's in primetime. And the Texans' primetime record is 5-17-1. So ATS, and that's ATS, not even straight up. So they're pretty bad, and I think that the Carolina Panthers should take care of business tonight.
Yeah, and the whole backup quarterback situation pretty much locked it in for me, like you just said, Ben. And when you think about it, Thursday night, that's not necessarily the best time to introduce the backup quarterback. You only have 2 days to prepare.
Against the number one defense.
Yeah, Monday's an off day, and then you got Tuesday and Wednesday. So. Not a good time to introduce a backup quarterback who probably didn't get a lot of first-team snaps in the preseason because it was pretty much all Tyrod. So I know they drafted him in the 3rd round, but yeah, it's all Panthers tonight, and I think it's a pretty safe survivor pool pick.
Yeah, and just to add to Ben's point, guys, we are not having a Sunday show this week. However, we will be dropping a lot of info on our social media pages, like the survival pool pick and a lot of other picks that we would have talked about on Sunday. So be on the lookout for us on Twitter, on Facebook, on social media, because we will have picks, we will have our survival pool picks, and we will have our Sunday plays. We're not going to put up our Sunday plays here either because
we don't have a slide, but we'll give them out. But we're going to post them on social media. We'll pin them up. We all each give 3 picks. We're going to give out the picks today, but we will post them on social media. Justin, Roland, myself, and Ron.
So be on the lookout for that.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, that was a survivor pool. We are going to be on the Panthers tonight, so hopefully they come through in cash for us. We just need them to win. And let's go ahead and give out our picks as the last thing that we do. Let's just get it out of the way last. Let's get to the fantasy stuff since we only got about an hour till kickoff. So some of these guys have Thursday night questions.
Let's do it.
Yes, we got to get to the Thursday night boys. Yeah, so we didn't do. I didn't send the Thursday night video.
The little intro.
I forgot. Yeah, you still got it up there.
Shit, we even had some.
That one. I don't know if the Thursday night one's still there or not. Well, anyway, it's on Facebook regardless. But Gene, Mark Chapa, Jesse, Noe, Wally, hey, thanks for kicking it with us, guys. And without further ado, Roland, take us to the next segment.
Let's do it. It's our Thursday night version of the fan mailbag. We got some fantasy questions here. We had 2 questions actually for the same starter sit-up. We got one from Joe, and then we got one from Mondo. And I think the question was, who do you start between Sam Darnold? Wait. Am I reading Marcus right now? I'm a little confused.
No, you're talking about Joe and
we have. Wait, guys, we have a special.
We have slides.
First time, no, guys,
we have
first
videos.
Time ever. A first time ever. This guy might be the We Talking About Sports top fan. He might be the top fan.
Going live to the game tonight.
Going live to the game tonight, and he even sent us a video, guys. And we're going to show you that video because it's a stardom or sit-em question. We have one from Marky Garza, and then we have another question from Dukes, Mondo, and from Joe T. But they actually have the same player on that stardom or sit-em. So we're going to get into that right now.
All right. Here we go.
Here we go.
Suited and booted. Wally, take lessons, Wally. Take lessons, Wally.
My starting sit question for you guys is, do I start Burrow versus Pitt coming off that ugly Bears game last week? Or do I start Sam Darnold, who I picked up off waivers, playing tonight versus the Texans?
Roll it one more time, Roland. Just roll it one more time.
One more time, because he wasn't saying it with his chest.
Burrow versus Pitt coming off that ugly Bears game last week? Or do I start Sam Darnold, who I picked up off waivers, playing tonight versus the Texans? All right, so my starting sit question.
Damn it,
all right,
boy.
so his question was Joe Burrow against Pittsburgh, who shit the bed last week, threw 3 picks on 3 consecutive passes against the Bears, or he picked up Sam Darnold off the waiver wire and is asking, should he start him tonight against the Texans? Who wants to lead this off?
You know what?
It's there.
Go, Ron.
Roland, go ahead. No, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I would go Sam Darnold tonight. I'd go Sam Darnold tonight over Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's got a tough matchup against Pitt. I know Derek Carr found a little bit of success against him last week, but this is all matchup based. I think Sam Darnold, you can count him in for about 2 touchdowns today. I don't think he's going to turn the ball over. So, yeah, I'll go Sam Darnold because he's going to have a passing touchdown to CMC. And then he's going to find more for my boy Ben. So, yeah, he's going to have at least 2 baked in right there. So, I'm going Sam Darnold. Pretty safe.
Sam Darnold's a pick for Roland. Hey, Joe T, you got to step up your starter sit-em, video game.
Joe T, you've been asking us about Brandon Cook since week 1, cuz.
Hey, Carl's
Burrow was trash last week.
Very good
He
point.
was trash last week.
He was. All right. I'll go, and then Ben,
I'll finish it off because I honestly think that there's a better option that Marky hasn't even considered, man.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, just to answer Marky's question, between the two guys, it's up there. I mean, as far as the projected points, 17 to 15, that's not much of a difference. But just like Roland said, I think it's all about matchups. Also, I put some little notes there. Darnold did have a rushing TD in week 1. What other team do you want to play this week besides Houston and keep rolling, keep having that confidence, that you've had in the past 2 weeks? Again, he was out to prove that he wasn't the issue when he was with the Jets, and he's on that freaking hot streak, boy. So I'm gonna go with Sam Darnold, Marky. I would start him over Burrow. Also, to give you some stuff on Burrow, I mean, Pittsburgh has had the fewest fantasy points to quarterbacks since 2020.
Josh Allen struggled too with it.
It's going to be a hostile environment because Pittsburgh isn't playing very well. It's a division game. Those division games are going to get a little crazy. And just like Ben said, he threw 3 picks last week. He still pulled off the win. I don't know how. But he's coming off the ankle injury.
They lost.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. He had the 3 picks. One of them was a pick 6. So, I mean, if you're looking at these 2 guys right now, one of them's on a hot streak, and the other one just came off a bad game. One of them was playing the Steelers. One of them was playing the Texans. I think it's an easy pick. I think Marky did say, though, in the group chat that he was going to start Darnold. So, more power to you.
Yeah. I don't think, and Bull's over here trying to steal my thunder, but great minds think alike, Bull. Great minds think alike.
I actually saw that too, though.
I think that Daniel Jones against the Atlanta Falcons is a better start than Sam Darnold this week. I think that we're going to see a lot of CMC. We're going to see them handing the ball off a lot, and the Giants are only 3-point favorites against the Falcons. We've seen the Falcons. We've seen Daniel Jones get it done with his legs as well. I mean, shit, we got Bridgewater here in the chat, and that's a Giants fan, bro. Dang. So that's a sign. We got a Giants fan tuned in. Mark, Daniel Jones over Sam Darnold. But with his question here, I would go Darnold. With Darnold and Burrow. But I think I think Daniel Jones is going to outscore both of these guys, personally.
You think so? Do you know his projected, or should I look it up?
I don't know his projection, but, I mean, he's playing the Falcons, bro, and that game's going to be in the 20s. We haven't seen Barkley get in the end zone. We've seen him on a pitch count. They've just been doing it through the air, And last week, Daniel Jones did a running. He had that big touchdown called back. I mean, he's a top 10 fantasy quarterback right now, and they're usually losing and having to pass. So I like Daniel Jones this week.
Yeah, I actually like that play a lot. I mean, only catching 3 against the Falcons. The Giants are at home, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, he's projected to have 19.86 points. So he's actually projected to outscore Burrow, and he's projected to outscore Darnold. So, Marky, I don't know. It's 6:34. You might have some time to take Ben's advice and put in Danny Dimes.
Yeah, Mark, I know you're headed to the game, but get it together because maybe Danny Dimes ain't even a free agent. Maybe somebody else is thinking like that, but he should be.
You know what? He's actually, man, Ben, you must be fucking working for NFL. He's the number 1 fantasy available player right now.
What about would you guys go pick up Justin Fields right now?
Ooh,
he just got named the starter.
I like that, Roland.
He just got named the starter, and he's available in a lot of leagues right now.
This Thursday show is going off.
I would still go Daniel Jones off Fields. Let Fields show me he can do it once. I mean, they did win last week, but he wasn't too impressive, to be honest. And it was against the Bengals. They're not known for defense. So let him show me first.
All right. Well, there you have it, Ben. He came with Daniel Jones, brought up a lot of good points, and Ron and myself, we were on Sam Darnold. So, Mark, you got to let us know where you go, man.
To touch what you said, Justin Fields is projected to have 17.16 fantasy points. So he's there with the Darnolds and the Burrows of the world this week.
Yeah, and he's gonna get stuff on the ground. You know, he's gonna take off and try and use his legs.
Very true.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that game. But just wanted to bring that up.
Marky, thank you for the video. It was cool, Marky. Thank you for the video.
Do you have any other starter sit-ups to get to?
The Joe T and Mondo one.
Mm-hmm.
They both are inquiring about the same player. I'm going with Darnold. Fuck it. Chingo. Remember what I told you, partner. All right. But Joe T was asking. I forget the
slides on here. It's Amando's picture on it, but Joe T was asking the same question. The slides on here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but so. Do we have that rolling or no?
I don't have that slide. At least I don't see it here.
Okay. Well, they were asking they should start Brandon Cooks tonight. I mean, obviously, I was on the Brandon Cooks over 5.5 receptions prop. Joe T, I know you're in the comments. Can you tell us, was it Brandon Cooks or who that you were going to start or sit? Mondo, I know, didn't give an option for sure. But I think that Brandon Cooks is wide receiver 2 or flex and like prime option at those two positions.
It was Gibson.
Oh, Gibson. And Gibson's going up against the Bills. The Bills have given up 1 touchdown to the offense in 2 weeks of football. We know that the Steelers got that pump block for a TD. So I would actually go Brandon Cooks over Gibson. But I know I've been on the Brandon Cooks train since week 1 with all the Brandon Cooks questions. I don't know what Mondo's other options were, but I mean, if it's flex, that's a prime flex option in Brandon Cooks, man.
No, Mondo didn't have an option.
Cooks or Sutton is what Joe T is saying. Cooks or Sutton. Sutton had a big week last week. I wasn't a big fan. I wasn't a big fan of him coming into the year. So I would still go Cooks, but maybe y'all like Sutton.
No. His Cooks or Sutton question was actually for last week. I remember that, Joe T.
Okay.
Wasn't it? Yeah, it was actually for last week. But,
I'm saying start Cooks, man.
Yeah, I like Cooks over Sutton and Antonio Gibson this week, just off the matchup. And I need to see Antonio Gibson have a good game. It was kind of off to a slow start, so I'll load up Brandon Cooks one more time.
Yeah, man. As far as to give you some more info on that, Antonio Gibson's projected at only 13 points this week to Cooks' 19.49. I think in Washington there is a little bit of running back committee. I think he kind of screwed McKissick kind of screwed you over last week, right?
Hell yeah, he did. Both of us.
Yes.
Because if Gibson gets that 2-yard TD, I hit my rushing prop. Roland hits Gibson to score anytime. So McKissick definitely hawked him that TD. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a running back committee in Washington. Buffalo, man, they blanked They blanked the team that they played last week, 35-0, which
Dolphins.
was the Dolphins. Yeah, which was the Dolphins. They have a solid front seven. They shut out Miami, and he only has 5 receptions so far this year. So if it's a PPR league, Gibson isn't quite that pass catching back, just like we said. So he's not going to give you much on the PPR side. And even though he did show out a little bit last week, he still does have a rookie quarterback in Heineke, to where Brandon Cooks, again, he's just like Darnold right now. This guy's on a hot streak, man. He's just too hot to sit. You're not going to sit this guy.
And has a rookie quarterback as well, but we saw the rookie going to him. We saw the rookie knowing who the number one is and going to Brandon Cooks repeatedly last week.
Yes, and then again, PPR league, his catch prop, just like you said tonight, was 5.5. So even Vegas is giving him at least 6 catches. So that's already 6 points right there. Houston, I think they're going to go with a game plan tonight that they're going to have an easy pitch and catch, situation for him. They're not going to put a lot of workload on Mills. They're not going to have him think a lot. Maybe a couple of dump offs, wide receiver screens, and who else you're going to and who else you're going to go to, but Cooks, and he's really their only option there, man. He's projected. Even though with everything that we just said, he's still projected in week 3 to have 19.49 points, 19.5, almost 20 points. So I think Cooks is the obvious play here over Gibson and Washington.
So no worries at all, based off of what you've seen with Mills, targeting to Cooks.
No, sir.
His starts. All right, fair enough.
The Broncos are 10-point favorites. They are at home against the Jets. Maybe they'll air it out early, but you got to think, for the most part, their game script is going to be, running, trying to kill clock, letting their defense intercept Wilson as many times as they can. The Texans are going to have to be passing tonight. They've had to have been passing week 1 and week 2. Maybe not so much week 1 because they jumped out early, but Brandon Cooks has shown that he's double digits consistently. And Joe T, you're a Patriots fan, man. When Cooks was on the Patriots, he was still getting it done fantasy-wise as long as he wasn't concussed. So when he's healthy, the guy's producing.
Very true. And we're talking about Cooks as just a conventional wide receiver. He could still come through with the jet sweeps, crazy. They don't do it a lot, but plays like reverses, things like that. Things to where they're gonna want to get the ball in his hands. Maybe crazy enough to call me crazy, but a wildcat. I don't know. Yeah. I just think that there's just so much more ceiling. There's just so much more ceiling for him. Yeah. I don't know if you want to touch on your boy Bridgewater's question.
That's a good one because that's a good one, right? Because you think Mike Evans. That's a guy that you spent a lot of draft capital on, probably a top 4 pick. So that's a guy that unless he has a bye week, you're usually plugging them in without a doubt. But you got Patrick Ramsey on the other side. And Patrick Ramsey's been a guy that's been known. Me as a Jalen Ramsey, the best DB in the league. I was a DK owner last year, man, and I benched DK when they played the Rams. Just because when Jalen Ramsey's on you, 2 catches for 20 yards. That's kind of why I didn't draft Hop. And I know it's only 2 games out of the year, bro, but when you play Jalen Ramsey, you're eliminated, fam. Unless you're Devontae Adams. I would bench Evans, and I would go Chase, especially if Deontay Johnson doesn't play. Chase Claypool moves up, even though I'm not a big fan of Big Ben and his arm. I know Roland isn't either.
This is Jamar Chase versus Pitt.
Yeah, I think it's Jamar Chase.
Well, he's been getting in the end zone, bro. I would just go with Chase.
I'd probably go definitely. Jamar Chase. You got to give it a little bit more question, though, just because Antonio Brown might be out this week. So a little bit more targets to go around, I guess.
Well, I think
Mike Evans. But I still like Jamar Chase here. Off to a good start.
I think AB is out because of COVID.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so this could be a good Godwin week, for all of you Godwin owners out there, or a Gronk week.
Huge Godwin week. Maybe I know me and Roland were talking about who does Ramsey line up against. Godwin's usually the slot guy. You don't expect Ramsey to line up against him. Mike Evans is the big threat. He's that red zone threat. Ramsey's going to lock down Mike Evans, bro. I don't know what his yards prop is this week, but I would expect under 50 yards from Mike Evans this week.
They did say, though, that they are using Jalen Ramsey in a lot different looks this year opposed to last year as just being that conventional cornerback. But even then, I think I don't know, man. I think, and even off his week 1 performance, Evans didn't go too crazy against the Cowboys either. So really, last week was only his really good week.
I was just going to say he mastered the stat line of like 2 catches, 2 yards, and a touchdown.
Right there, Roland. I was going to say 2 catches,
Yeah.
13 yards, and 2 TDs.
Yeah, that's his stat line. That's the stat line right there.
Gene Trevino had a quick question. Because it's having to do with tonight's game. Starter sit Anderson. I got Mike Evans, Robert Woods, and Shepard right now. So we just talked about Evans. I think we said Evans, but do you sit him for Robbie Anderson? He's only projected to have, I think, 44 yards is over and under with 4 catches.
I'll just go quick too, Roland. I'll go Robert Woods just because you can't run on the Bucs. It's a high over under. Matthew Stafford is capable. I know Cooper Kupp's been getting all the looks, but you got to think the Rams are going to score some points, and it ain't going to be through the ground. I would go Robert Woods.
Yeah, I was going to say I would go with the way he has his lineup structured. I think he said I have Mike Evans, Robert Woods, and Shepard. I think if that's the way he has it, I think you stick with those guys. Because much like what Ben said, I think Robert Woods is the one that you question because I like Shepard's matchup a lot this week. But Robert Woods, I think this is a get-right game for him against the Bucs because everyone's going to be on Cooper Kupp, and Darrell Henderson might be a little hurt, so they might be with Sony Michel. And Robert Woods, I think he's going to find the end zone this week.
For the record, I would say don't sleep on Shepard. Ben just talked about how Danny Dimes is supposed to have a huge game versus Atlanta.
That's fair. They have a good matchup.
I mean, Evans is supposedly going to get shut down. Anderson hasn't been.
So would you all say,
well?
Ron, would you say here that it comes down to starter sit Anderson over Mike Evans then? Because I think Robert Woods and Shepard are both plays this week. But so for Anderson, I mean, we know that he's the big play guy for the Panthers. Do we see him?
Big play guy.
I just think that he's boom or bust. Like he gets the big play, and if he doesn't get the big play, he's probably not going to give you much.
I would still go Evans over Anderson, even though everything you just said.
I agree.
But because that could be like the way Brady is. He's like, okay, everybody knows Ramsey's going to be on Evans, and he's not supposed to get anything. Let's go out there and let's prove him wrong, Mike. Let's go show this guy out. So
put it on the table. I agree.
Put it on the table. Yep.
Sit Anderson, Primo.
You're welcome, Gene. You're welcome. All right.
All right. Well, if we don't have
Carla,
any more.
When in doubt, Thursday's out. What does that mean, Carla? No, let's not go Broncos. Thanks for watching, Carlos. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, let's get down to the final thing we got, boys.
Yeah, that's our bets, I guess, for Thursday, and a lot of them aren't on the card, but we can go through our 3 picks for the.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes, we got to do that.
The pick 'em, and we'll post them on social so you guys can keep track of it, and you guys.
You know what? That's what we'll use the board tonight for, Road Dog. We'll use it tonight for our 3 picks.
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right, so. My 3 picks, I'll go through them real quick. I got the Titans -5. I have the Patriots -3. And then I am on the Rams +1.5 right now. So just quick on all of those. I think the Patriots, they played pretty solid. I think they're going to continue this week against the Saints. The Saints haven't really, other than that week 1 game against the Packers, and it's questionable where the Packers' minds were in that game. I really didn't show much last week, so I think it's a bad spot for the Saints, who still haven't played a home game. Technically, they've been in Jacksonville. They haven't been home to New Orleans yet. That can't be good. They find themselves on the road in New England, so bad spot for them in my opinion. Going with the Pats. Titans, another situation. Carson Wentz is probably going to be out. A lot of news has been indicating that Wentz will not suit up on Sunday. It's probably going to be Jacob Eason and Huntley, so I'm going for the Titans right there, -5. And then the Rams.
Good.
I think the Rams, I like their defense. I think their defense is going to give the Bucs their best challenge this week. And I'm going to go with the Rams to keep it humming. +1.5 and at home. So I'm going
all right, Roland. So run it down real quick so we can let the
Rams 1.5.
+1.5.
+1.5.
All right.
Pats -3.
All right.
And what was it? Titans -5.
Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going to say not so fast, Roland. I'll just go next with my 3 picks. I was able to find the Bucks at -1. A little late to the party because I know that the Rams did open up as favorites in this game, being that they are at home. The line has now flipped. The Bucks are -1, so I'm going to go with the Bucks -1 as my first pick. My second pick, like Roland, I'm going to pick on a team with some quarterback problems. I'm going to go against the Colts. We know that Carson Wentz is out. Jonathan Taylor hasn't looked the best. And I think that the Raiders, the Raiders are playing the Colts, or am I tripping?
The Dolphins.
I'm sorry. No, the Dolphins. Tua's out.
Losing all credibility here.
I said I was picking on backup QBs. I'm going with the Raiders -4. I know that there's still questions of, is Carr going to play? I do expect Carr to play. He is another guy that's up there with the fantasy voting. He's been airing it out, or the MVP voting. He's been airing the ball out. I expect more of the same this week. No Tua. I believe they're going with Jacoby Brissett starting for the Dolphins. I expect the Raiders
-4.
I expect the Raiders -4 to get there. And then my final pick, I'm going against them boys, and I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles +3.5. When the Eagles and the Cowboys lock up, man, it always comes down to that game-winning field goal. I'm getting the hook here. Philly has looked impressive to me. Jalen Hurts has been surprising to me. He didn't even throw a touchdown last week, and he finished as a top 10 fantasy scoring quarterback. He's been impressive. I expect it to be a close division game, decided by a field goal. So those are my 3 picks.
All right, so I'll get into mine just for today, since it's TNF bets, Carolina and Houston. I am going to go with, I did a parlay, Carolina Panthers money line. I didn't want to touch the -8, even though I think they cover the -8. And the Houston Astros. I'm not an Astros fan, but they are pitching McCullers tonight, and we're talking about sports, so I can't talk about baseball right now. So Astros money line and
you
Carolina.
You can always talk about the Astros.
We can always talk about the Astros. Yeah. So anyway, Panthers and Astros money line tonight. It's an even play, and also I'm going under. First half tonight, 21.5. We just talked about how the Texans are not going to score, or shouldn't score any points, I should say, against that Carolina defense. Carolina, yes, I mean, they're the better team, but are they known to put up a huge amount of points, especially in the first half when the teams are still, kind of getting to know each other a little bit, and, they're not getting too crazy, don't need to score points at the end of the game? No. So I'm going to go with the under. Tonight, first half, 21.5. I think Wally, shout out to Wally, he said that he took that as well. So if I'm solid and we hit, you can never say I'm solid again.
Those primetime unders, Ron.
Those primetime unders. They actually haven't been good.
First half unders, I'm sorry.
First half, yeah.
Because the game unders are 6-0 this year so far in primetime. 5-0, 6-0.
Wow, 40. I think the total tonight was 44.5. But to get into my 3 plays for the week, guys, I am going to go with, I mentioned it earlier, I touched on it, Mr. MVP himself.
Kyler Murray,
Arizona -7.5. And I'm also going to go with, we did not plan this, I promise you, Tennessee -5. And then to finish it off, I am going to touch on the game that Ben just talked about. And this is, I think, the first play. I don't know if we can only do spreads here, but I'm going to go Dallas, Philly over 51.5. I don't know if we can.
It's against the spread, but I mean, you
can. Is it against the
spread?
Son of a San Antonio. Okay, well, you know what? Then give me. Guys, I have some leans here, but I don't know if I'm gonna pull the trigger.
Ron, how about I give you time to think about your last one, and I can read out Justin's 3 plays. Justin couldn't be with us, but for the contest purposes, and for him not to go 0-3 this week, he gave out Pats -3, like Roman, liking the Pats as well. Titans -5. It seems like 3/4 of the podcast is on the Titans, or the Titans back. Big game from Derrick Henry. They should just be able to run the ball down the Colts' throats. Like we said, Wentz looking not to play. They're in trouble with Jacob Eason is starting over there in Tennessee.
Yeah, he threw 1 pass for 1 pick. So
yeah. And his last pick is the Seahawks -1.5. The Seahawks losing last week to the Titans. So the Seahawks off a loss. I kind of like that, and you're only giving 1.5. I might join Justin on that.
That
myself
should be a hell
on
of a
Sunday.
game.
Yeah, it should be a hell of a game.
You know what? Touching on it, and just I got my pick now, boys. I just feel like there's been little subtle hints to this game, and I'm gonna just go with it. Division rivals, but at only 3 points versus Atlanta at home. Give me the Giants at Danny Dimes at -3.
Right.
Why not?
Right. I mean, it's the battle of the 0-2s. It's the bumble.
Yeah.
Going with the teams.
There's a difference, but they're very different 0-2s. There's an 0-2 you get your ass kicked, and there's an 0-2 where you shouldn't have lost against Washington. 0-2s.
The Falcons were in it with the Bucks last week. Ron, I think I have a trend.
Yeah, they were into those 2 pick sixes.
I don't.
Ben's trends make it into.
No, I don't have one for that. I have a couple of trends just for tonight. 8-25-1 ATS on primetime for the Texans. The Bucks have scored 30-plus points in 9 straight games, dating back to last year. So the Bucks team total, against the Rams, who's considered one of the top defenses, I don't know the exact number, but I think it should be around 28.5. They've scored 30-plus in 9 straight games. And the Titans, 22-5-1 to the over since Ryan Tannehill has joined the team. So the Titans are putting up points, baby. Hey, I did have it right here. Giants ATS at home, dating back to 2017. Ron,
wow,
giving you about 5 years of data here. 4 years of data. 9-23-1.
Well, can I change my? Why do I have to decide right now? Usually we don't. And usually we don't have to decide.
Disgusting, Ron.
So nasty.
Usually,
disgusting.
Okay, fine. I'm fucking changing it then.
Hey, it's your board. Change it, but just make it official before the show ends, bro.
All right. Let's just do it. Fuck it.
Just I did add the first half under myself right now.
Okay.
So, Roland, you're on the first half under tonight as well?
There it is.
I like it.
There it is, boys. Read it and weep. Dallas -4.
Read it and weep. 3.5, Ron. 3.5.
3.5?
I got Eagles at 3.5, so you get Cowboys at 3.5.
I see 3.5 on my board too. So.
Yeah, get 3.5.
Count it, baby. Count it. Greg the Leg is gonna help us win by 4.
Hey, as Cowboys fans, what did you all think of McCarthy at the end of that game last week and settling for that long ass field goal? I know that the clock was being taken on the field because they were having technical issues. But couldn't you all have run another play and possibly gotten a little bit closer? I know worst case scenario was overtime, but come on.
I thought it was weird how they did settle for the long field goal. And after the game, McCarthy said that the clock that he was looking at during the game turned off. So he just lost track of time. That was his excuse. And he said as soon as the clock turned off, he was like, whatever. I didn't know how much time was left. I guess that's a valid excuse. He's an NFL coach.
He got the win and he got bailed out, fam. Yeah. But had they lost it, had they done what
they missed that?
Had they done what Minnesota did, Roland? Minnesota settled for a 36-yarder, let the clock run down instead of running plays and trying to get a little bit closer. If
you're 36-yarder, you can chip it. This is different. He let him settle for a 50-some yarder. I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? At least get a little bit closer, my guy. Come on.
Hey, but we got Greg the Leg, baby. Have confidence in Greg the Leg.
That's why he has that nickname on No Run.
Greg the Leg.
That's why we got him.
Dan the Beetle Bailey, move over.
Hey, but it was a good
Greg the Leg.
Despite McCarthy almost throwing the game away, it was good to see the Cowboys win one of those close games. Those are one of the games. Usually, those games that the Cowboys lose,
we lose
dramatically or something. So it was good to walk away with a victory.
Hey, Eddie's here in the chat, and
I know. I was gonna say
it pops up. This is exactly what I wanted to talk about right here. He talking about the Cowboys D. Cowboys D would have taken the ball back, number 1, and take away Spapa. Does that? We know that they took the ball away 3 times from the Bucks. Still lost that game. Roland with the takeaways. Is that going to level back out, or are the Cowboys just ball hawking like
I'll
that?
say they're playing ball hawking defense right now. They are playing aggressive.
That's because they lost Lawrence. That's because we lost Lawrence.
Yeah, and they've lost Lawrence. Micah Parsons, though, savage. on the.
I told
edge,
y'all coming out the draft.
Savage on the edge, definitely looking like he was a great pick. I know a lot of us were disappointed that the corners went back to back before the Cowboys got the draft. Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn. But man, Micah Parsons, what a stud, man! And he had to line up at defensive end, and he wreaked havoc. But yeah, to Eddie's point, they are number one in takeaways. They're playing aggressive. I don't know if it sustains throughout the year, but I'm glad to see it.
And we haven't had an edge rusher like Micah Parsons, in
not
a while.
Not by design.
Not even by design. Yeah. But real quick, would y'all trade Elliott and DK Metcalf for CMC?
If I'm what owner am I?
Well, Eddie said.
Am I Eddie Tovar 0-2 and I have Metcalf? Am I Eddie Tovar that's 0-2 and I have Elliott and Metcalf?
Well, Bull said Elliott and Metcalf. Send it.
Oh, Bull's the CMC owner.
Bull's the CMC owner. Bull's the CMC owner.
I'd hold on to CMC there.
Ron, as a Cowboys fan, are you taking on Zeke? I mean, it is Zeke and DK.
And that's because I'm a Zeke owner right now.
DK hasn't seen the end zone yet, but you got to think that it's coming. He did have 14 targets. 14 targets. 14 targets for DK last week. It's going to come.
But shit, consistently, if I have CMC, shit, you got to give me fucking like some cash on the side or something. If you want that. Hook it up with some $5 billion.
Well, I should say, Bull is 0-2 as well. All right, so they're both 0-2, but one guy has CMC. Think what you made with that. Think what you made with that.
Wasting time on the show for guys who are 0-2. Get out of here.
Hey, that's funny.
Good show today, boys.
Yeah, good show. Do you guys have anything else to add before we sign off?
Throw up the social media one more time, Roland. I know that we have a lot of good guys in here. Jesse, Eddie, Mark Chapa, Gene, Mark, Garza. A lot of you guys follow us, man, and we appreciate that a lot, man. Joe T for sure, especially Carla in here. So I'm sure you have, but if you haven't already, all the social media, man, if you guys can go follow us on there. We have a goal. We want to get to about 100 subscribers on YouTube, man, at least before the year's over. So if you guys
our New Year's resolution, Ron.
That's our New Year's resolution. And if we hit 100 subscribers, we're going to do something special for you guys who are subscribers. So if you could help us out on that, share it, send it to your friends. If you don't have a YouTube account, just create one at least just so you can, subscribe to us. So we want to hit at least 100 subscribers, man, before the end of the year. So we also have a Twitter, Facebook too. So, help us out, subscribe to our stuff and share what most of you guys already do.
Look, Mondo's in the comments real quick. So Mondo, you're here now. You sent us a question with no context. Mondo, you said, should I start Brandon Cooks? So Brandon Cooks or who else? We all think that Brandon Cooks is a beast. We all said start Brandon Cooks. I don't know who your other options are, but you're a camarada, so I'll repeat myself and I'll say start Brandon Cooks, Mondo.
Brandon Cooks.
But you can't be, sending questions and showing up late. Wait, Marky set the bar today, bro. Marky set the bar.
He was real suited and everything, boy.
Suited and booted. He closed the door on the fucking clock, wait. All right, he was supposed to do it yesterday.
Don't throw him under the bus like that. He was on.
They're not listening. They're not listening. Don't worry. They're not one of our millions of listeners.
So him and Joe T are top fans right now, and Mondo's slacking, bro.
Mondo's slacking, but we're still gonna give him answers, bro. Mondo, start Brandon Cooks. All right, Mondo, start Brandon Cooks. Just
because he went golf, I said he's gonna go golfing yesterday. He's gonna like it. He's gonna get all fucked up. And we're not gonna see him till Saturday asking for a college place.
He's here a few days early.
Hey, he's here 12 minutes. He's here 12 minutes before kickoff, baby. He's here 12 minutes before kickoff.
He fucking set his alarm on his phone to 7 o'clock so he can put in place.
Still got time.
Yeah, Duke, start Brandon Cooks, Mondo. Start his
Diego, what up? All right. Hell of a show, boys. Hell of a show. We won't, guys, remember, we won't have a Sunday show, but be looking out for us on social media because we're going to be posting up a lot of stuff. And you never know, Eddie, maybe we'll give away a Parsons jersey, but you got to subscribe and like our shit to find out.
Yeah.
Parsons jersey. I like it. All right. See you guys.
Hey, boys. Hey.